What makes a mortgage athlete? If you want to know the answers to questions like, as a loan officer, what should you be doing every day right now? If you want to know the 2023 mortgage outlook, if you want to know how to set yourself apart in the current market, if you want to know what contributes to success day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, you're going to be so excited. I have a special guest with me today. Hey, it's Elysia Stobbe, and I want to tell you all the amazing things that I am so excited to share with you about my guest today. Tom Reber. He's a 30-year mortgage veteran with a diverse background and experience and a passion for point-of-sale home financing. Leadership with a collaborative approach brings the influence and value to the home buying journey. Great quote by Tom. Few phrases that he lives by: yes, we can, and talk to Tommy. He keeps it simple, right? 1-2 punch. Yes, we can, talk to Tommy. It's his mantra for setting the stage for success. He is a senior VP, regional manager at Cross Country, and he has an extensive career, both originating, running branches, and being on the back end as well. He's done all sides of this wonderful, amazing business we call the mortgage industry. And so please, I'm so excited for my interview today with Tom Reber. Let's get to it. So I'm super excited to have Tom Reber with me today.
Yes.
Tom is an experienced mortgage professional. He has done all kinds of stuff on all sides of the transaction.
Yep.
For many, many years, and been super successful. How many years? I feel like you've been
33.
33. I was like, I think you
33.
got like 10 years on me.
Yep, 33. 1989 circa.
Perfect. So, we're in just such a challenging time, and you and I talk about all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
And I think challenges is probably the best word, because, we talked about this last week, I think, where it's kind of like even the LOs that are doing well are using the language that this is so hard. And I would just rather say challenge, because if it's a challenge, I'm going to rise up and meet the challenge, and I'm going to beat the challenge.
Right.
But even if I use the language hard, right, which I don't like to use, then I'm making it worse on myself, right?
Yeah.
We believe the words that we say, that, what we say again and again. And, I'm like, this is so much easier than being a doctor, and we can make easily as much money as many different types of doctor professions, right?
Without a doubt.
And I just think on top of that, we're blessed with helping people get a home or refinance, a home. And that's where they spend their lives. Like, we are, I feel like, just so privileged to be able to have this experience. So anyway, having said that, let's talk about 2023.
Yep.
What's the mortgage outlook now? How do you see it?
Well, the good news is 2023 is here. And to your point, it's still quite the challenge. Inventory is continuing to be a little bit of a challenge, but rates have come back a little bit since the highs and end of last year. So I think we've gotten a little groundswell of opportunity in front of us as we continue seeing what inflation does and see the effects of it coming down. We think it peaked obviously in January. Hindsight sees to look and see some things, but as we go forward, I think it's going to continue to be very choppy, but the opportunities are there. It's still a great time to buy. And quite frankly, it may slide back into right now it's a buyer to neutral market. It may slide to neutral to slightly seller's market as we get into the summertime, unless inventory picks up. So that's kind of what I see. I do see rates continue to ease a little bit. And right now we're in the low sixes, high fives to kind of just draw a line in the sand. And as long as we can keep it below 6, I think the affordability index for most is workable. So that's what I see.
And so to your point, if things are kind of dripping back down, right, a little bit, my suggestion is, what a great opportunity to call your people that were afraid of rates, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Any other ideas?
Well, so it's a great question. I actually have the stern conversation. I call it stern because you might as well have it up front with regards to the cost of money. The cost of money may get better as you go forward, but location, location, location ties into if the house is available, buy it. If it fits your needs, the cost of money is what it is. And then in 6 months, a year, we can look at potentially refinancing it based on the current dynamics. They're not here. And we're not 100% sure what's going to happen in 6 months, 9 months, a year, but we do know this. Elysia and Tom are sometimes right, but the market's always right. And we just have to, but the house is the house and it's the right one for you, for your needs. Move forward, get the house. And of course, you've heard the fun phrase we've all been saying, date the rate, marry the house. And it's just a fun phrase, but it's true. But location, location, location with the right house, the right opportunity, get used to what it is today for the cost of funds, make the deal.
Awesome. And, just talking about rates again, on a prospecting basis,
Yep.
What do you think loan officers should be doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis?
Well, I think from a daily perspective, they need to be reaching out and touching 10 referral partners, maybe throw a couple new ones in there, and keep yourself alive. A lot of the, you and I think shared another conversation, but weak markets create strong loan officers. And right now we're all learning how to be strong again, right? Because we're all having to go back to the blocking and tackling days, right? Yeah. And strong markets create weak loan officers because they get used to being complacent and the phone's ringing and the opportunities. Now we have to do total cost benefit analysis. We actually have to go through the four corners of a transaction and really help them understand the reason why they're making this transaction and go through it. And that way your referral partners say, no, you're just not a taker, you're an actual transaction maker, because today it takes financing to help them sell a house. It takes the confidence of why to buy the house so they can close the transaction and get them to sign. And if you're not willing to do those things, they're going to call somebody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So speaking of calling somebody else, how important is, and this is going to sound like a redundant question, but how important is relationship? Like, what do you start off with when you get a new client or a new referral on the phone?
So I like to tell people when I'm meeting with them for the first time, this is an interview. Interview me, I'm going to interview you. I have a specific set of questions, a certain set of skill questions to help identify some of the opportunities within our conversation. Feel free to jump in, ask questions. Let's create, let's shape. There's no right or wrong answer. And there's many different ways to get to what we're looking for. And that is to get you the official pre-approval to buy a house and help you understand what the payment's going to be and what the actual asset distribution you're going to have to make with regards to down payment and closing costs. Get those on the table. Let's have those good conversations and make it educational, as well as that knowledge that you gain. It's a lot of times you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's not as bad as you think, but it's an interview. That's the main thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And right now in 2023, what sets you apart in the current market?
Well, I like to say I'm present. I'm here. I'm real, and I'm local. I think today it's a phrase that's been around a long time: buy local, work local, things like that. There's a lot to be said that you can do things over the telephone, but I'm old school a little bit in the sense that I like to actually do the interview and sometimes meet people for a cup of coffee. And what sets me apart is, like this morning, I had a breakfast with 25 agents at Metro Diner and said, I'm here, I'm real, and I'm going to leave you with two phrases. Yes, we can. Talk to Tommy. Yes, we can. Talk to Tommy. That's all if that's all you got out of the breakfast today, then we're winning. And from that, just those two sentences, yes, we can. Talk to Tommy. I got 9 contact cards on my phone within 4 or 5 minutes. So like I said, I'm here, I'm real, I'm now. Let's have a conversation.
And for those 9 cards, what is your follow-up sequence?
Oh, they're in my phone. They become part of my wonderful business partners and influence campaign that I do, where I send out, I call it handcrafted information about the market, the economy, and just stay in tune with them. and try to spark some conversation. I think if you become a great partner, then they no longer give out 3 cards, they give out 1. But you have to become a great partner and understand, what their needs are as a salesperson and how to connect with them. What type of information do they like? What type of knowledge are they looking to garner? What location do they sell? And at the breakfast today, I learned from an ex-athlete, ex-football athlete. He said, Tom, he hit me with a servicing question. I said, wait a minute, what do you know about servicing? And he's like, Tom, I have to be well-heeled at all this stuff because one of the largest corporations in Jacksonville is Black Knight. It's the largest mortgage servicing platform that's in the country for all banks, mortgage companies, everybody. I said, Kyle, that is awesome. And having that knowledge separates you from others. And I like to do the same thing. So I would say be a jack of all trades, master of none, but be worldly enough to have the conversation of what it takes to help them be more influential in their job.
I love what you just did. I'll make 2 comments. So 1, I love what you just did because you gave Kyle a compliment.
Yep.
But then you also tied it back to yourself.
Yes.
So
exactly right.
Yeah, it's part of my classic. I call it the 3-part question, trust building question, right?
Yep.
You give them a compliment, you circle it back to yourself. And then if I was in a one-on-one, I would be asking a question that's all related to that and wrapping it up in a nice little bow.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
It works so well. Yeah. Good for you.
Well, my favorite phrase is how do we become sticky together? We want to be sticky in a good way with both our common customer as well as with each other, constantly looking for little nuggets. My assistant is phenomenal. Her name's Priscilla, and she looks for those little nuggets of stickiness to find out from the agents. She'll follow up and call our partners, and she'll listen, and she'll find that little piece that sets us apart. Like, for example, one of our agents we do business with was looking for a specific snow globe. And the craziest thing, I came to my office and my assistant had left a snow globe on my desk. And I'm like, what the heck? And anyway, I called her up and she said, you must deliver this to Melanie. And I'm like, okie dokie. So I literally called Melanie up and said, hey, Melanie, this wonderful mystery snow globe was left on my desk that was told with urgency that I need to get this to you because you've been looking for it for 3 years. And she found it. She lost her mind. She couldn't believe it. I literally drove over, hand delivered the snow globe, and she's got tears running down her face. And I said, well, that's the magic of throwing it out there. And as good partners, we were listening. And Priscilla was listening, which was fantastic.
And all the things you're talking about from earlier as well, the second comment, I'll tie this all in too, is you're using the prospecting sales funnel sequence,
Yes.
awareness, trust, right? Building up, and it's like the old BN, you say whatever you want, it's the same thing, BNI, right? Know me, like me, trust me, buy me.
Yes.
It's all part of the prospecting sequence.
Right. Yep.
And I think one of the major challenges that loan officers have right now is they forget that step, whether they're out of practice or they're desperate, right? They meet the realtor, the next thing they're asking for a deal, and you can ask for a deal, but you also have to earn trust and respect. And they need to realize that they need you and what makes you different from the competition.
And to that point, Elysia, probably the one of the most passionate things I tell people is I want to make you look good. I want to be a part of your team, and I want to make you look good. And I say that with all sincerity, because when you do that and you're empathetic with that, and that's your baseline, it takes a lot of the guards down and different things like that. And just say, hey, we want to be a partner of yours that it accents what you do. We want to be the twinkle to your star and be a part of that. And one win, we all win. And that's the beautiful thing about what we do, Elysia, as you know, is there's like 17 things that have to happen before we can close. And we all have to get along to get there. Yeah. So to your point, the better we do that as a group, the better we all are. Agreed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell me what you think. You have such a successful track history in a variety of areas in the mortgage industry.
Yeah.
Tell me, what do you think has contributed to your success in the past?
You know, I would probably say being sincere to the transaction, celebrating success with a thank you. You know, I love to celebrate with a thank you. I literally thank you card right here to a customer right here. I'm old school. I still write. I write them all. I also attend all my closings and celebrate there. I can't attend them all. Occasionally I miss one, but then you get one of these. But sincerity and honor to the transaction, because when you pay honor to the transaction, everybody knows that this is a big deal. We're providing one of the 3 primal needs of life. You have food, you have water, and of course we have the shelter, and we help provide the gold, and we're part of the journey. You made a phrase about lingo one time to me, and I no longer use process as a word. I can't stand the word process. It makes it, to your point, tough. I like to say we're part of the journey. And journeys sometimes have challenges, but the journey means we're going to get to the final point and have that success. And that's the celebration part of it. And I think that sincerity to the celebration means a lot to everybody at the table, because for a lot of people, to your point you've made in the past of listening to your stuff, you know, you may get 3 or 5 of these a year for a borrower. And every one of them big. Every one of them is really a big deal. And of course, to 17 people, buying agent, listing agent, all these people are involved, and you're the gooey, you're the sticky part of making it all happen, because you bring the gold to the table and everybody gets done.
Nice, nice. And is there anything in particular that you've been doing for years that helps set you apart now?
Being
present. Or anything new, right?
Well,
that you're sprinkling in.
So, you know, we're always,
I feel like you're not a static guy. You're very dynamic.
well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Elysia, thank you. Grateful and thankful every day is number one. Our referral partners that we do business with, we have to be grateful and thankful for them every day. A phrase that I have is, it's extremely difficult to get a partner. It's precious to keep them. We all get that. But that it's a lot more to that. You have to, that's why I call them business partners and influencers. I call the people I do business with, they're business partners and they're influencers. They're one and the same, but they also need to remind themselves that they're influencing others. Iron sharpens iron. It's okay to phone a friend, poll the audience, do a 50-50. I'm here. Yeah, that's me, you know, poll the audience, do a 50-50 or phone a friend. I'm here. If you want to talk about, you know, what's your favorite restaurant or whatever it may be, I'm here. Talk to me. We have this is the collaboration. Collaboration selling is what separates me, to your exact question. I'm very collaborative on multiple fronts. I'm also not afraid to really get into the weeds with them about what they're doing. I want to show that I really care about what they're doing in their actual lives of real estate, AKA, as I call it, monopoly. We're all playing monopoly in some form, and we're also playing the game of life of some form. And it's okay to share and care and admire people that are really, really good, you know, and there's a lot of people out there today that I do business with that are real estate partners of mine that I tip my cap, and, you know, they're playing monopoly at the highest levels. They're market makers. They can self-medicate transactions with knowledge and experience. And I love self-medication because that means you're self-contained and you can solve 90% of your problems right there in one spot. And if that's the case, and all I am is a twinkle to your star, great. But if you need more from me, I can help you there too.
Yeah, I love it. I love to say that this is a team sport.
It is a team sport.
All right. We all are working together, all these different entities. You know, the negative side of that is it's like herding cats. But I'm like, yeah, no, it's a team sport. Like we work best for the client to get to the end goal when we all work together as a team.
One of my favorite phrases is, it's really cool to be nice. It's really, really cool to be nice. It's easy to be nice, and it's easy to smile. It's easy to care. You know, when people get frustrated, I like to say, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to walk it out. Let's go walk it out. Let's go walk around for a minute and think about what we're doing here. And, you know, just slows it down. Let's identify the challenges. Let's identify the opportunities, because you've heard me say this before, and I'll say it again. Every objection is an equal or greater opportunity to win. Every objection is an equal or greater opportunity to win, which in my opinion, if we didn't have objections, we wouldn't have the twinkles to the stars. So I like objections.
Fantastic. I love it. I actually have a sticker on my phone that says kindness is really hot.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's
Yeah.
and kindness is really, really hot. And it's contagious. Absolutely contagious.
It is contagious. Energy is contagious, right? Your positive energy
Oh,
is contagious. And your
damn right.
clients know that, your realtor partners, right?
Yeah.
The team you
Well,
lead
and
knows that.
exactly, Elysia. And I'm a firm believer, if you're not having fun at what you do, then you got to ask yourself why you're doing it. Because it's a lot easier to smile your way through hard work than it is to sit there and, put your lip in the dirt and not feel good about it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Where focus goes, energy flows.
Boom. There you go. That's a good one. Like
That's
that.
Tony Robbins. I can't take credit for that.
Well, let me tell you something. He's a rock star, obviously, and your background is heavily with that, which I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been super blessed to spend a lot of time with Tony for sure. So you love to use the phrase mortgage athlete.
Oh, my favorite.
Tell me more about that. How did you come up with it? What does it mean to you? What does it mean in the kingdom that you play in?
So the reason why I like to say that everybody's an athlete when it comes to their careers, because we all start new. And when you're learning a craft or learning a trade, you have to practice. You have quality practice gets quality results. Practice to practice or just reps for reps doesn't get you smarter, better, faster, more efficient. Practice the right way, execute the right way, deliver the right way, then you have a foundation. So all of a sudden now I was a baseball player. I played, little league baseball, Legion ball, college ball, tried to play pro ball. And I realized, you know what? Physically, I'm probably a 3-star athlete. So out of it, can I run fast? Can I field? Can I throw? You start you look at what things you can improve on. So these 3 stars I'm really, really good at. I can hit the ball a long way. I can run fast and I can catch really, really good, but I'm not real fast. And sometimes, when the pressure's on, I can't do things in the clutch. That's the it factor sometimes. So when you look at real estate athletes, you look at mortgage athletes, and whatever lane you're in, I like to say you're an athlete because you're working on your craft at all times. So practice to play, then you play to practice. And guess what? You learn more from your losses than you do from your wins. And whether it's in a CPA or whether that's a mortgage banker, whether it's a real estate agent, you learn from tough transactions a lot more than you do from easy ones. And guess what? Your foundation gets stronger and you get a bigger and bigger foundation. And all of a sudden now, but you've got to start somewhere. And that's why I like to say everybody's an athlete. So you start and you're going to build on it. And then you learn how to replicate. You learn how to, then all of a sudden, once you feel like you've learned everything, Elysia, you know this, you just know the tip of the iceberg. That's the beautiful thing about being an athlete. I was speaking to some Olympic athletes and I was talking to them and having some sidebar conversation at a conference. And I said, what's your biggest challenge? And they say, I want to get that 1/10. I'm looking for one more tenth. They're striving for excellence. That striving for excellence is the game changer, Elysia. So they're grinding and looking for a tweak in how they do their craft for that 1/10, that 1/100th of a second. That's what improvement is. Guess what? Our improvement's not that hard. We just have to be a little better next time. And so one of my favorite phrases I tell new loan officers is, look, the second time around, if you're 50% better than you were the first time, that's a damn quantum leap of getting better. The longer you do it, the harder it is for you to get better because, you're looking for that 1/100th of a second. But guess what? And this is one of my other favorite phrases that ties into that. People, process, technology in that order. So you take the technology, enhances the process, enhances the people. You take the process and you make that better. Now you have precision origination, proactive processing, solutionary underwriting, which is very much with the technology. You take that, pull it together. Next thing you know, you're now making mortgage excellence. You're making real estate excellence because you're taking all of these pieces and you're making it all about this and that delivery. And now you're part of the of a just well thought out plan, and boom, you're making it happen.
Fantastic. Yes, absolutely. I think it's so interesting, that little 1/10, right? And it all comes down, so many times it comes down to belief, right? People can believe, right? Because I mean, just to use, kind of a generic mortgage example, right? You can close in 30 days, or you can close in 20 days, right? And then one of the other mortgage companies, Movement, right? They made it 10 days.
Yeah.
Right. So now once they switch the bar, yes, I mean, most people still close in 30 because people are gonna pack and all that stuff, or maybe sell another house, whatever. But we just had a file clear to close in 9 days, and then we just sat around and waited, which is the way I love it.
Yeah.
But until they did that 10 days, like most people thought 15 or 20 was fast.
Yes.
Just like I think it was the gentleman that broke the 4-minute mile.
Oh, yeah.
The runner.
Yes.
No one thought it could be done.
That's right.
And then when he did it, so many people started to do it right after him, because he broke down the mental barrier for them.
Yes. That's right.
Right. It's just like you have LOs that are crushing it, that are closing. Some people think 10 deals is a lot, but really there are LOs that have teams that close 60, 90, 100, over 100 deals a month.
Yeah.
Right. And then they're paving the way and making that path visible to others.
Yeah. There is, I love to give professional respect and courtesy to other mortgage athletes. Look, I may run a 5.40, may run a 4.40 in the mortgage space, and which is incredible. And their numbers may double or triple mine. And I like to talk to those folks and interview them mentally, and just sit down and have some fun sparring, because iron sharpens iron. And they may pick up something from me that helps them with their craft, and they'll probably share something with me. But it all starts with A, being nice, B, respecting at the highest level, and give them respect and professional courtesy. Because there's a time or two that I run across something, I'm like, I don't see the answer. Hey, Elysia, it's Tom Reber. Have you ever run across this before? And it's not that maybe Elysia may or may not know, but just having a second set of ears and eyes on something brings the confidence and the swagger back, because a lot of times when you're wrapped around the axle emotionally, you don't see the answer right in front of your nose. Sometimes I got to reach out, phone a friend and say, Elysia, it's Tom. I'm lost as a damn billy goat again. I can't figure this out. What do you think? And, usually in 13 seconds, she has the answer and I'm good to go.
You're funny. You're very humble. And I don't think there's a whole lot that you don't know, but thank you.
Well, hey, I phone a friend quite a bit. I pick up the phone and call people and say, what do you think? And so the cool thing about that is having the utmost professional respect and courtesy. Your peers will pick up the phone. I'll be the first one to pick you up and dust you off if you're having a bad month. January is not good for a lot of people because it's the frozen tundra of North Florida. And a lot of folks every once in a while would get the old donut, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, the world's coming to an end. I'm like, stop, check yourself. You need a cup of Tom. I got you. Let's talk. Let's really get this going. And I say a cup of Tom because, look, I self-medicate every day under Tommy time, which is 5 o'clock in the morning to 8. But there's times in the afternoon, somebody will call me and say, hey, I'm not doing so hot. And I'm going to say, you know what? I'll be the first one to pick you up and dust you off and give you a checkup from the neck up and say, what are you doing right? What are you not doing? Let's look back. Oh, that's right. You forgot. Jingle, 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 jingle. Let me remind you that you are amazing. And let me remind you, if you make 10 license plates, it's self-fulfilling. Stop and reach out to some of these folks you've done business with, and then maybe sprinkle in 1 or 2 new ones and invigorate. And guess what? All that's going to make you feel better, because your activities of quality, as we've talked about, quality activities get quality results. Self-medicating and hoping doesn't necessarily work. Hope's one of those 4-letter words that, there's a bunch of 4-letter words that nobody really likes. And that's one of them.
True. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's interesting too, because you talk about phoning a friend, and I find that, the minute that you think you know everything is the minute you're dead in the water.
Absolutely.
Because humility is such a wonderful catalyst to learn and grow.
Yeah.
Humble
Elysia,
pie
probably
is the best pie there is, I think.
Well, I watch a lot of podcasts and listen to a lot of podcasts from some NFL coaches, and another one that I've watched closely is Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is known as the Darth Vader of the NFL coaches because he's so ruthless at times, and he'll try to win at all costs. But at his training camp, he put it out there, and he bought all of the teams all of his team 5 years ago T-shirts. They just won the Super Bowl, and it had a big slice on the back of a piece of pie. And all it said was, humble pie is your shadow. It's right behind you. It will be all. So he put it on their back. So as the players are going through their before pads, everybody wore had a Patriot logo on the front and a humble pie slice on the back. So everybody saw the slice of pie, but the message was, humble pie is your shadow. It's right behind you, and it will smack you upside the head if you ain't careful. So what you're doing when nobody's looking is that slice of pie on your back. That's your shadow. And that's what he told the team. He goes, that's my message for this year. We won the Super Bowl last year, but that's now in the rearview mirror. Humble pie is right here, and you may not like the taste of it. You don't want humble pie, and it's on your back, and it's right beside you like a shadow.
I love that. So let's talk about, you just said what you're doing when people aren't looking. So
yeah.
Again, this is 2023 is such a year for back to basics. Like, we are rewarded in public for what we practice in private.
Yes,
and
right.
I'll just go right back to prospecting again,
Yeah.
and being kind to people again. Like those two, it's the 1-2 combo that wins every time.
Elysia, what you're doing when nobody's looking, you have to hold yourself accountable. I like to say, whether you're at the gym, whether you're in, the line at Publix shopping, your actions are your truth. I was at dinner with my family a couple weeks ago, and it got back to me that I got a compliment that I have a wonderful family. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so incredible. I was with my grandson, Jack, and a random person sent me a text and said, it was so good to see you with your family. Hey, I was behaving, I was doing all the right things. But my point is is you represent yourself, you represent your family, you represent your corporation, you represent the people you work with, and you need to hold yourself at a high standard when nobody's looking, because you never know, to your point.
Every time. I agree. So last but not least, with somebody of your experience, diversity, motivation, and excellence, tell me what I should have asked you that I didn't today.
So I've been unique in the sense that I've always kept my hand on the electric fence. It's probably one of the biggest things that I've probably could have taken a different path a few times, but I've chosen to continue to keep my hand on the fence, the electric fence, because the second you let go, you no longer have the juice. And I've been served up humble pie a few times in my career. I'm sure, like you, we've all went through the 2007, 8, 9 challenges, the scars and tattoos. Before that, there's a few funky times in the 90s that I've lived through that weren't near as severe, but they were challenging. But I didn't know any different. I was so dumb, I was brilliant. And here we are today. And I love the fact that we are here today. It's the law of the jungle. The strong will thrive. The weak are going to walk. And that's a choice. We all have choices. And sometimes these choices aren't easy. But the one thing that you didn't ask me was, how did I get here? And how I got here was through a lot of great people being around me. I had a lot of mentors that I came up with that showed me, and I was able to emulate what I thought was hard work with them. Hard work is not necessarily working 80 hours a week. Hard work is having a highly action-packed 40 and being nimble in the 40, having the balance. And I wanted to emulate those mentors. I've also seen some mentors that I was very, very envious of that probably didn't have all of this balance in place. And I've seen the good and the bad, and I learned from it. So I've been very lucky there. But how I got here was the school of hard knocks. I've had my good days, I've had my bad days, and I've learned to smile my way through it a lot of times. And I've had a lot of great opportunities. I'm very, very thankful for a lot of folks that gave me a chance. I still communicate with my very first processor.
That's awesome.
1989.
Yeah.
So my very first processor
Me too.
in this market today, and I still communicate with her today. I've got a lot of folks that, you know, I don't know how much of a football fan you are, Elysia, but there's a lot of coaches like for example, Andy Reid has a lot of coaches like Doug Peterson that coached for him as an assistant coach. Yeah. I've got a lot of people that have worked with Tom. I don't say anybody works for Tom. They've worked with Tom that are now managers at other companies and thriving. And I'm honored, you know, that they were a part of Tom Reber's lineage of working together. I talked to my very first loan officer I hired back in, I guess it was 92. I became a branch manager in 92, hired my first loan officer. And to this day, he's a superstar. I mean, he's passed me. And but guess what? He still phones a friend. He calls me and says, hey, what do you think? I have a lot of friends that I've made over the years, and those friends have carried me through working with, admiring their craft has carried me through. And I've had a lot of great opportunities with some executive mentors as well. And, but that's how I learned not to take my hand off the electric fence.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Any other words of wisdom as we wrap up for loan officers, branch managers?
Loan officers, make your 10 license plates a day. It's self-medication. Make your 10 license plates a day. Lock yourself down for an hour or 2 hours.
So tell them please, I know the license plate metaphor. Will you please explain?
So license plates is like when this is my cell block. This is my cage. I'm in my cage. And for me to leave, I need to get my to-do list and I need to hit my 10 license plates, and then I can feel really good about myself leaving. And touch people, speak with people, email people, communicate with people. And if you can block that, and I'm not the best time blocker, just ask my assistant, she'll tell you that I see swirl and go, but I do reach out and touch at least 10 people a day. And by doing that, I call that making license plates. Like I'm in there, do your job. Do your job. And if you do that effectively, then you earn the right to go out there and take a few moments and maybe go visit some people face to face, go have a coffee with them, make a celebration call. I love to make the celebration calls. You know why? Because I give it to them. I give it to them hard and said, you know what? I just want to make sure that you know that you're loved and you're important. What the heck, Tom? I said, I told you you're loved and important because you mean something to me. All of a sudden, we're knee deep in other conversations. And that's the nicety, but that's how we do it. But that's the 10 license plates.
I love it. Thank you so much. Were you going to say something after the license plates before I sidetracked you?
Oh, what was that?
You said for loan officers, make your 10 license plates.
Yeah, make your 10 license plates. Make sure that you say thank you. You know, make sure you say thank you. And if you don't do that, and by the way, the cool thing about phones today, you can take an instant photo. I love to do selfies. I send them to my back shop. I send Brooke and my closer, Becky, I send them shots from the closing table, a little selfie of Tom and the customers to say thank you. And I copy the customers with my back shop to say, job well done. The moment of excitement has happened, because they don't get to see thank you. I say,
I do the same thing. It makes them so happy because no one really ever does.
They don't get that. They're
they love it.
Away somewhere, and they don't get to feel what I call the zen of the business, which is the thrill that money does not buy. Money does not buy that happiness. You know, when you get this is another one. Here we go. You got me on my soapbox, but there's a big difference between solving a problem by writing a check and a thing called sweat equity. You showing up at closing is called sweat equity. When you collect a check and walk away, you got a voice for a moment. It's instantaneous. It's not the gift that keeps on giving. That's the sincerity and empathy that you're referring to. That is the gift that keeps on giving, because guess what? I got a text from a customer today that I closed 5 years ago. He's a Cincinnati Bengals fan. He sent me a text and he said, Tom, somebody was soliciting me, and I called him and said, my broker is Tom Reber. I'm like, holy cow. I said, Mike, I love you. That's what I told him. I said, I called him and told him, I said, Mike, I love you. And he said, I just wanted you to know that you're my guy. And we haven't hardly talked in 5 years, but you're my guy. And I'm like, Mike, that means everything to me. That is doing the business the right way. Branch managers, you mentioned branch managers. Branch managers, if you're not taking care of your people through mentally and emotionally rewarding them weekly, don't take the check. Just don't take the check. You don't deserve the override. Go walk away. You just need to be a loan officer. True leadership of that quality is you must say thank you. You must be grateful. Your actions are your truth. Your reputation is your currency. So I need all the branch managers that may be listening to this to check yourself to say, I'm honored and grateful every day that you work with us at this organization or this company, because your sweat and hard work is why we're here. And you represent our brand every day. That means something to me, this organization. In return, anytime you need me, you call me, I'll be there. You email me, I'm there. You're my most prized possession. So I typically, as branch manager, I'll show you what I do. Every bit of marketing information I send out to my customers, I copy my team. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because they need to know my actions, my reputation. That's why I call it business partners and influencers. There's a reason that I have that at the top. It's not just realtors. I'm selling my loan officers every day of how important they are. And this is what I'm doing. And I must inspire them through my actions to be as good, if not better than me. That is your reputation. And that is your currency, branch managers, if you want to be special. And then nobody can say, this is one of my other favorite phrases. I'll give you two. I'll give you two, a bonus one. The one phrase that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up is, that's the way we've always done it. Ugh. That one there makes my head spin off my shoulders. That's the way we've always done it. And then immediately I breathe, I count to 10 and I say, well, if that's the case, then you're wrong. We're living in dog years. We're living in dog months. Every month is 7 years. Every year is 7 years now. And oh, by the way, if that's the way you've always done it, then you're obviously wrong, because we're moving at the speed of business. And what you did in 2010 is not what you do today. Just look around you. Okay, now that we've reset the conversation, what can we do to make some change? And we spin it and go. That's a tough one. And then the next one is, as branch managers or other leaders, if you are a taker and you stand on other people's shoulders and call yourself tall, your mortgage athletes that you work with, your other athletes that you work with are going to look at you with a side eye. And that's what I tell people. My job as a leader is to provide the utmost respect and courtesy and honor to the people that work with me, because they represent me and my brand and my company every day. And I want to make sure that I represent them every day. I was in Tallahassee yesterday. I met with my branch manager in Tallahassee, met with a $36 million real estate producer who's a rising star. And I sat there and I listened a lot. I added a few sprinkles, but I made my person in Tallahassee feel special. And more importantly, I guaranteed his work. I guarantee his work. I guarantee his representation. And if you can't find him, first call the police, because he's obviously lost, but you can always call me. And that was my whole role yesterday. I drove all the way to Tallahassee to have this meeting with those folks. And it was very, very successful. And as I like to say, if you can deliver 50% of the pie in the sky, it'll pay tenfold. And but that's how you create very, very sticky people to work with. And then, like I said, sometimes they grow up and go other places, and that's okay. You know, I hold nobody back. Nobody's held back. If you want to go fly with the Eagles, go for it. And there you go. Elysia, this has been a lot of fun.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you sharing all your nuggets and magic wisdom with us. We'll have your information below.
Yep.
And we'll see you guys again soon. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, Elysia, thank you. Honored. Cheers.
My pleasure. Thank you, Tom.
All right, rock on.
As always, if you found this information helpful, please smash up that like button, hit the subscribe button, share this with another loan officer or branch manager. And as always, put your comments, questions below. I'm happy to answer them. Cheers to your success.